Hello, you're watching a very special episode on Hornbill TV. And in today's special episode, we have a very esteemed guest. He has been the Chief Minister of Nagaland for 5 times. He has served as the Governor of Gujarat, Maharashtra. He's also served as the Governor of Goa and Odisha. Well, he is none other than Dr. S.C. Jamir. Well, today with Dr. S.C. Jamir, we will be speaking more about the various issues that affect the state of Nagaland, and also we'll speak a little bit more on his personal achievements and his personal life too. So without any further delay, we'll get directly into the conversation, and let me introduce to you Dr. S.C. Jamir. Sir, thank you so much for giving Hornbill TV your time, sir. Sir, I think before we get into the detail of the conversation, my first question to you would be, I think this is a question many Nagas would also like to ask you. Even at this age, you're about to reach 95, you're still so fit, you're still so healthy, you still have the energy to attend public functions, and till today, you speak to the Naga audience by giving them speeches and in your own speeches. So, sir, what is the secret behind your health, sir?
Happiness of mind. We should not be disturbed by anything. Whatever you have, whatever you have attained, you should be fully contented with what you have. Number one, you should never have any jealousy against others, because they'll only torture you. And therefore, to maintain good health, one should have, I think, honesty in whatever he does, in whatever he says. And once we maintain that composure, naturally, that is the best medicine to keep a healthy life.
Now, sir, coming to the main part of our discussion. Sir, you are, I think, the best person to speak about Nagaland. You have seen the inception of Nagaland in 1963, and today we are in 2025. Sir, in your whole life, you've been here working for the Naga cause. So, do you see any changes taking place in Nagaland from then and now? And also, do you think these changes are good for Naga society, or is it something to worry about, sir?
The most precious things which we are missing today in Naga society is honesty. We always talk about uniqueness of Naga history. And what is the uniqueness? I think according to my own reading or definition, honesty, endurance, straightforwardness, hardworking, and cooperative life. That was the attributes of Naga society. When we started the political movement, Naga stood as one man. They spoke at the same voice. They marched to the same goal, and they sacrificed for the cause very, very dear to their heart. Whether it is achievable or not, Nagas were honest to their conviction. And that conviction, we can always treat it as the unique character of Naga people. Now in a changed situation, now we are part and parcel of a great country like India. But still, Naga people can be a role model for the rest of the country in matters of political foresight, because when all other tribes during colonial rule, they were keeping quiet, but the Nagas, they were talking about their future. And we are torchbearer as far as political enlightenment of the tribal people are concerned. That is the reason why, along with India and other colonial countries, we also plunged into political freedom of the Second World War. Yes, we cannot expect whatever we want to achieve. But I think because of these sacrifices, because of this conviction, because of this commitment, I think our people, they have achieved something which has been shared by other tribals of India. You should remember that a generation of Naga people have lived in blood and sacrifices for a cause very, very dear to their hearts. So ultimately, when situation changes, when we're confronted with challenges which were beyond our control, then even then, we have not surrendered to Assam. So in 1957, we were actually just crushed, totally crushed. And yet, we said we have to not design our own future. We shall not go back to Assam as a defeated people. And it was God's blessing that at that time, the leaders of yesterday years, they are imbued with a sense of a very big responsibility to restore the image of Naga people. So in order to salvage the hopes and aspirations of Naga people, convention was convened in 1957. For what? To take us out from Assam. We don't like to be a district. And then for the first time, Naga integration took place in 1957 because Tuensang people, it was Tuensang Frontier Agency in Nepal, they also came out. So Naga family, the first Naga family was born in 1957 when Naga Hills of Nagaland and Nagas, then Nagas of Tuensang Frontier Division, they formed a separate Naga family, which was called NHTA, Naga Hills Tuensang area. Now, after that, the representatives of 16 tribes, all the leaders, they thought that we cannot remain idle like this. And Nagas cannot be a defeated people. And therefore, in order to work out a political status which could be maximum within the Constitution of India, first convention, second convention, third conventions were held. And with unanimous decision, 16 points agreements or memorandum was drafted, approved by the people, and on that basis, statehood was granted by Prime Minister of India, Sri Jawaharlal Nehru. And since then, Naga people have a separate political entity. Secondly, to decide the future of the Naga people now rests with a representative of Naga people. Then, now unlike other districts, Nagaland is a full-fledged state with special provisions, Article 371A, which is the only article meant for Naga people. So now we are living in a state where we enjoy, one, maximum autonomy within the Constitution of India. Secondly, with a very special provisions known as 371A. Now that is how Nagaland came into being. Then how was it? It was, people don't know how it was created. All other states in the country, they were carved out under recommendation of the State Reorganization Commission. Whereas Nagaland is the first and the only state which was created through political agreement with Prime Minister of India in 1960. So that is the difference between the state of Nagaland and the state of other states in the country. That is why Nagaland is called unique. But underground people, all the people, they give us certain explanation. But to me, uniqueness lies there. A very special state within Indian Union. That is how state came into being.
So, right now you just mentioned that Nagas could be a role model for political farsightedness. So, in this regard, I think Nagaland has become a model because over the past two assemblies or the past two governments, it was a term never heard in the country before called oppositionless government. So, till today in 2025 too, Nagaland is an oppositionless government. So, in your own political career and journey, even though you were the chief minister, you still had opposition. So, sir, do you believe that opposition is very necessary in a democracy and oppositionless government is ultimately the fault of the people?
In short, oppositionless government is a mockery to democracy. Why democracy? People have got a right to express their views, their opinions on the problems facing by them. They have got a right to vote. That is the reason why they also become different parties. Today we have Congress Party, BJP Party, NDPP, MPF, and so on and so forth. Why? Because in democracy, different views should be expressed for the betterment of the people. And it is only when everyone is free to express his or her opinion on the problem of the people, then ultimately we have to choose the best one. But when the entire mouth of the elected members are coke, what kind of expression do you expect? That is the reason why assembly session, 2-day session, 3-day session, what will they discuss about the future of Naga people within 1 day, within 2 days, within 3 days? Number one, how comes an elected member do not insist on the 1 month this session, then 4 weeks or 2 week sessions, in order to ventilate whatever complaints that people have, because that is the only forum where they can discuss about people's problem. But when people's problems are not discussed, when people's problems are not brought to the notice of this assembly, then what kind of democracy we are talking about? When we said oppositionless, it is no eyes, it is no ears, and it is no mouth. Because oppositionless means even the very word less, L-E-S-S, it carries a big meaning. So everything is less. So I think it's a very dangerous experiment which is being enacted in Nagaland, known as oppositionless this party. This will totally destroy the future. Why? Even if issues are brought about, then there's no one to talk about. Only yes, 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 yes. Then can you have a government which is a yes government in a democracy? So I think oppositionless, it is abnormal functioning of a government.
So when it comes to the oppositionless government, the representatives of the government, they have said that this move by all the elected members to form an oppositionless government is to fight for the early solution of the Nagas. Is that a valid excuse in a democracy, and especially in Nagaland?
Now it's more than 10 years. Have they passed any concrete resolution for resolution of Naga political issue? Number one. They said they are prepared to resign provided settlement is made. Now, in 2003, this framework agreement has been signed, 2005. 2017, agreement was signed. And these are the political agreement. If you are really true to what they have promised, they should have resigned and paved the way for the implementation of that agreement. But it has not come. Even today they are talking about only facilitation. But facilitation doesn't arise because Government of India has appointed interlocutor. And now they don't regard interlocutor because all settlement is already made. So now the question of facilitation doesn't arise. Only resolutions arise. So if the main business, if oppositionless government is meant for solution, then let them bring a strong resolution to Assembly and give ultimatum to Government of India and also on the ground. Within such and such period, you should settle the problem. Then the meaning of oppositionless government will have meaning or sense.
Okay, so now coming to the gravity of this discussion, coming to the point. So when at a point of time when you were the chief minister, you had during the 1990s, you had stated in public media that if the government of India wants to find any solution, they should include all groups for discussions and not only NSC and IM. But sir, in today's time, 2025, there are more than 28 factions. Would you still agree with your statement that the government of India should now sit with all 28 Naga national political groups? And do you think this is good for Nagaland?
There is only one Naga issue, which we call it Naga political issue. And for that, NSNIM and NNFG, they have already signed 2 agreements. Whoever agrees, let them join. Whoever do not agree, they will be treated as law and order. So how come they can go on talking with all the groups? They have already finalized 2 agreements. Implement it, that's all. It's a mockery on the part of Naga people to talk about factions also.
All right, sir, just wanted a little bit of understanding about what a ceasefire means. It was during the 1990s that the 1997 that the Indian government signed a ceasefire with the Naga national political groups. Now today, because of the increase in the factions, all factions want a ceasefire. So for the viewers, can you just elaborate as to what is the advantage of having a ceasefire?
The most, I think, peculiar political development in Nagaland. Sovereignty is sidelined, everything is sidelined. Now people are talking about ceasefire. For what? They have already settled the matter. Framework agreement, agree position. And under the present circumstances, people cannot expect more than what they have done also. We should be grateful, actually, to IM as well as to Naga political group also. That is the only possible under the contemporary political realities. So we should support them instead of criticizing them. And why come having to go on signing only this ceasefire? Because when settlement is already there, you don't require ceasefire. It was only under ceasefire that settlement was made. So it is in the reverse order. And the most common they said, now that we have already signed 2 agreements, you join them, that's all.
Okay, sir, now on a very different tangent. Over the past few years, we have seen the Naga public actually rise up against activities of the Naga political groups such as extortion, threatening. So you have been the chief minister during one of the most violent times in Nagaland because of the war amongst the Naga political groups. So the youths, the society is slowly opening up. Do you believe that this is a good sign of the Naga public, that they are finally beginning to understand what is happening around them? They are finally beginning to give attention and they want a change. So do you believe this is good for the Naga society?
The whole trouble in Naga society is, or Naga movement, in all freedom movement, they should have leadership, and they follow the leaders. Say Indian freedom movement, like Gandhiji, then Bandiji, then Subhash Chandra Bose, or Patel, Maulana Azad, all those leaders, they were leaders, but they were not prime ministers. They were not commander-in-chief. They were not galancers. They were people's leaders, public leaders. Then people follow them. They sacrificed them. But today, the very peculiar political issue today is, everyone is behaving like a prime minister, then minister, then commander-in-chief. But where are the people? People are not there. Then what kind of politics we are talking about? What kind of settlement we are talking about when people don't know? That is the reason why whatever they have already signed, you cannot expect more than this. So before, again, it is diluted. Let us at least secure whatever they have already done the few years back. Let us not lose everything, but let us preserve something which they have already done. So in order to do that, public should not criticize underground also. Underground also should not criticize among themselves also. But they should also tell Naga people, whatever we have done, we have achieved only this, under the president. Public will welcome, because they want peace, settlement. So that atmosphere should be created, first, by Nagaland Legislative Assembly, fully endorsing whatever they have done. Secondly, every church leaders, instead of calling only these mass prayers, I think even church leaders should also collectively, through a memorandum, appeal to central government as well as underground to finish up the problem. Because we want to live in peace, and any internal matters, Nagas are capable of solving among ourselves.
So I've asked this question to another guest of mine in a particular talk show about a certain topic. So, and that question was, so during your time when this whole Naga movement started, as you had already told us before, that the movement's goal, all Nagas were united. So, but today, if you go and talk to a youth, a Naga youth, when you talk to them about Naga political groups, so there is always distaste. They are scared. The fear psychosis is there. It was never there when the movement had started. But right now, in today's time, if you ask the youths, they are fed up of all these Naga political groups. So do you blame the youths that for having such a thought, because they have had to bear all the actions committed against them by our own Naga political groups? So do you blame the youths for having such a mindset?
You know, why youth are fed up? It's quite natural. 1940 is no longer 1960. 1960 is no longer 2000. 2000 is no longer 2025. The world is changing, the idea is changing, the mindset is changing, everything is changing. Economic forces changing, scientific changing. social life changing, mindset thinking changing, food habit thinking changing, even our dress ornament is also changing. Now the present generation, now they belong to 21st century is this citizenship. For them, the world is in their hand, mobile. They can talk to their friends to America, Germany, Japan, like this. They can see in TV what is happening all over the world. They cannot be bluffed. And the education which they have, they are much more advanced than our generation. So they actually, younger generation, they are updated and modernized. Whereas our political movement, this is antique. Antique. Now they talk about Supreme Commission, plebiscite, and so on and so forth. Naga Club. But that is not relevant today. And young people will not be enthused or to talk about that one. They will only laugh. Today what we want to do is, if Nagaland is a part and parcel of India, and it is, politically, geographically, everything, then the entire country is also moving along with the rest of the world. And we are part of that. Should we still remain in first gear or second gear? No. Our young people would like to go to the top gear. But it's being prevented by older generation, underground, even overground also. So that impatience is there in the hearts of these young people. That's why young people, they say, hey, fed up. Don't talk about it. They're right. But that is not relevant. That is the reason why I have been telling publicly, privately to our leaders. Now mobile phone. If something goes wrong, I ask my grandson to rectify it. In other words, we have to prepare the world for that grandson. Because their thinking is different. Our thinking is different. But Naga people, they are so obsessed only with the past. That's why we are not really marching hand in hand with the rest of the world. So today, whether it is politician, underground, overground, let them also update their thinking. Let them also see what is taking place even in India. Because India is becoming one of the most powerful nations of the world. And we are part of that. So when people are talking about landing on the moon, should we talk about Supreme Commission? You just tell me. Should we waste time on plebiscite? That is the difference with Nagaland. Also, this Niti Ayog. Every time say Nagaland is the worst. It's the worst. Why? We are making it worse because we have not been able to realize how world is changing fast. And world is changing fast. We also know. Because we also don't like to have food which our forefathers have had. Is that so? You don't like to put on lengda, ashala. Ide ashala almugina. So that simple example is a change, but we don't realize that also. So how can our younger generation be happy with us when we are not giving them any space for development? And it is the present generation who you keep opening for them. But we have closed everything. So how can they be happy also?
Okay, so in a different, like the way the Naga political groups are increasing, in Nagaland another phenomenon is also rising, which is the increasing number of civil society organizations. In Nagaland we have a lot of civil society organizations.
Since Naga people have lost their way, since nothing to do except to make these groups so that you can talk, you can have a space to talk. Otherwise people are fully engaged in economic development, social development, educational development, scientific development. They don't have time to converse. They're working. But we have nothing to do. There's a fashion show, beauty contest, then this celebration, that celebration, only entertainment. Why? We have lost our way. And there's no other country in the world, which is called Naga Festival also. It itself indicates that we are not doing it, only eating the leader.
So, also, sir, I wanted to talk to you about a recent incident that happened in Kohima. So, there was this two CSOs called the Combined Technical Association of Nagaland and the Nagaland Net Qualified Forum. They held a protest in the Secretariat stating that they were fighting against corruption. A very esteemed guest on one of our shows also said that it is these organizations that are acting like the opposition in an oppositionless government. And through that protest, it was quite a historic day because a cabinet decision was revoked, and that has hardly happened, or I think it has never happened. But due to the protest of such CSOs that fought for the youth in terms of getting equal opportunity to sit the exams. So, sir, do you believe that in an oppositionless government now, these CSOs like the CTAN and the NNQF and various others are actually the opposition in Nagaland?
When there's no opposition, they have to go ahead like that. It's a sort of dictatorship only. Even cabinet decision can be reviewed. It can be reviewed. And actually, they should not have waited for this agitation. If government follows rules, procedures, then this kind of anomalies will never arise. Yes, exceptional cases like you're a government servant, then you die. Naturally, we used to appoint on humanitarian ground your family member one, so that the family, that kind of things. But in the case of here now, they said 147. Suddenly, actually they have not used their brain also. They should have this recalcitrance 10, 20 like this, then it would not have been pitching. But end block, it has got, it got prominence now.
So, sir, lastly, sir, I think you'll be the best person to speak, because if you look at the state of Nagaland, nobody ever speaks about it, but unemployment amongst educated Naga, educated and qualified Naga aspirants, unemployment is a very big issue, of which we are seeing or getting reports that many of our Naga brothers and sisters, they go out of Nagaland, they go work in call centers. These call centers are illegal and they are caught.
Everything depends upon underground issue. Number one, if there is peaceful condition, unemployed, educated person can set up small workshop. And at least he can do that. We have plenty of land. We can even go for farming. And since our boys and girls, they can do many things, provided there is space. But today, what is the problem? If an educated, unemployed, wanted to start a small-scale factory, he borrowed, take loan from bank. Then underground people see that one. He has taken, say, 20 lakhs. Then what is the percentage? We should ask. So all factions come demanding a percentage from that loan. So from the very start, that educated unemployed, he is crippled. That is one. So no one will start. Secondly, In India, there are so many rich people who would like to invest also. Even foreign companies also would like to invest. But where is the security? When you're not only your money, but you yourself is not secure, who will invest? That's one. And our people now, over the years, instead of hard work, we have developed begging mentality. Suppose I'm called for chief guest, then they will expect at least, I should give at least 20,000, 30,000. After studying, I have to give them education. But people are not bothered about only money. So materialism has enslaved Naga society. Not only one, even churches also enslaved. And we are struggling for that. So once settlement comes, there will be no excuses. Those people who are from Manipur, they will go. Hornbill, they will go. Among ourselves, we can sort out, no problem. Then they will also overgrown. There will be no different level. So it will be survival of the fittest. And those people who have got a capacity, they will be able to grow. Because that time, even government will not be able to deduct percentage, underground percentage, chief minister percentage, this percentage, it will not be possible. So that time, a normalcy has to come. Everything is abnormal. So once that normalcy comes, then we have in tourism, I think there lots of scope. Even minerals, when we started extracting minerals, and then even agriculture. Now people, even villagers, they don't work. Only money, making money only. So economic activities will start only when there is freedom. But now you are not free. Not only that, after 15 years, 20 years, once low-case policy, what we call it A-case policy, is matured, there will be tremendous inflow of population from Southeast Asian countries who are industrialists, who are scientists, all this, to invest in India. And we shall be the first people whom they will be contacting. And they will be surprised to see that same people are here. Climate is also good. So they will definitely start investing here. So that time, whether our boys and girls will be a participant in that economic boom, or we shall be only second class. So we have educationally, everything we have to not develop, because it is coming. So that time, Northeast region, there will be only one market. And people will not quarrel about this boundary issue, because the entire area will be an economic unit. So that time, the entire Northeast region will be an envy of India. We have prospect. But because of underground people, now we are becoming a dwarf. And all the good brains are drained out. So we should put all emphasis on this settlement. What are they doing? Only a collection of money, building house, getting the best facility. Where is sovereignty? Where independence? Where are the people following them? And can you succeed any moment with the people? Now people only curse them. So this has to be reversed as soon as possible, so that peace dawn, then we shall be able to prepare that future for our younger generation, because they are capable.
All right, so at the end, also I wanted to ask, you just mentioned that the Naga society has been enslaved by materialism. Over the past few years, another shocking and very disturbing incidences that has happened in Nagaland is really shocking to the conscience. And that is, so there is a rise in sexual harassment cases where most of the victims are all minors.
I don't know. It was never unheard of.
Yes. So, sir, do you believe that the morality of a Naga is finally being exposed? Because we were once considered to be the safest state in India when it came to women. But over the past few years, this has disturbed the conscience of the Naga people. So, doesn't this fact go against this whole movement called Nagaland for Christ? Is this exposing how good Christians we Nagas are?
You know, politics is a fence or wall. Once political wall is strong, then neither cows, nor animal, nor pigs will destroy your crops, nothing will grow. But when it is collapsed, whether it is cows, everything coming, and then like this. So they are destroying our garden. Why? No politics. Overground same thing, underground same thing. So it is free for all. That's the reason why we are importing those from outside. Nagas were not like that.
I think, sir, with this we come to the end. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us and also with the viewers. We hope that you remain as healthy, and we hope that you live a longer life, and we hope that you will keep continuing your movement for the Naga people. Thank you so much, sir. So that was our esteemed guest, Dr. S. Jamir, and we spoke about various range of issues where Dr. Jamir has also put out his point of view very strongly. With regard to the Naga political solution, he hopes that normalcy will return soon in the state of Nagaland, through which even the youths of Nagaland, be it boys or girls, can prosper in their own state rather than having to get into the begging mentality that Dr. Jamir had just mentioned. HornbillTV will be bringing you more special shows like this, so stay tuned to HornbillTV.